Hello everyone, I am Raw Toast and welcome back to another First Impressions and Review. Today we are discussing Drug Dealer Simulator 2, which is the newest game from the developer Byte Runners, a small development team based in Poland. Drug Dealer Simulator 2, which we'll just call DDS2 moving forward, is the second in the franchise and the dev team's second game. The premise of Drug Dealer Simulator 2 was very simple. You are a young man just trying to make ends meet, so the only solution is clearly to make drugs, sell drugs, and become the biggest cartel ever, so only small ambitions. But you do need to be aware of the law, because they're going to make your day just that little bit rough, so please my friends, when you're on this beautiful archipelago, please keep an eye out. For me, I've actually been really looking forward to this game for quite some time, since its announcement well over a year ago now, actually. As a big fan of simulator games, I've played quite a few of the sim games. I was a big fan of the first one, Drug Dealer Simulator 1. So I've been really keenly watching the development of this game, very slowly, but I didn't want to play the demo because I didn't want to spoil a lot of the stuff myself. So I've been very happy that I've been able to play this game, and I was very fortunate enough to actually get a review code from the developers. So guys, everyone at Byte Runners, thank you all so very much. They've been very generous in allowing me to have this code nice and early, so I can get this review out for you beautiful people. The game is set in Central America in a fictional archipelago named Isla Sombra. The environment is filled with lovely sceneries like beaches, beautiful shanties, run-down buildings, and many people willing and waiting just to mug you. The map is about 6 times the size of its predecessor, so there's a lot more travel and exploration in this title, so a lot more avenues on how you can develop your cartel, and exploration, even if you just want to sit back, enjoy the scenery, watch the waves crash down, and listen to that beautiful water sound and nature sounds. The game is co-op up to 3 players and has 2 fast travel options, which are car and bus. So the bus you need to buy tickets for, so you got that bit of realism, you got to buy your bus ticket each time. And then when you do purchase cars, you use them as other fast travel points, but you can only fast travel to things like parking spaces and other bus stops, things like that. You can't just get the bus to random parts of the archipelago where there's no bridge connections or anything like that. So it's actually kind of cool how it works that way. And then you can unlock a boat a little bit later down the track, quite early on actually, so that you can cruise around and just sort of go wherever you want to go, as long as you've got a bit of fuel in there. There's actually 9 selectable characters as well, which is quite cool, and a couple of different voices for them, so that's absolutely lovely. And the game's also fully voice acted, which is fantastic. The voice acting is a bit questionable at the best of times, but you know what, I am appreciative of the effort, and just the immersion that it helps me get. Plus, with this type of game, this type of setting, we'll say, there is definitely some combat as well, which is lovely. So those people who are trying to just take your wealth for themselves, you can give them the old left, right, and right, which is absolutely splashing if you ask me. And there is a main storyline, so it's not just like random, just build up or anything like that. It's actually a storyline to the game, which is about 30 hours long, which I've done quite a bit myself already, and I'm actually really enjoying it. You meet other people in your industry, we'll say, in the pharmaceutical narcotic industry, which is quite nice. All of them have their own sort of personality, which is quite cool. And you start rather small, obviously. Like, you don't start off as the big fish in the sea. No sirree. You start as a 1-man operation or 3-man operation if you've got a couple of pals to play with. And you grow your empire to having many employees, all doing things like, shall we say, being the local chemist. And you got some delivery fellas, supplying the chemists with their beautiful narcotics, my friends. So as I was playing through the game, I obviously have a bunch of pros and cons that I do want to quickly chat about, and my overall thoughts of the game. As someone who is a fan of sim games and a fan of this now franchise, I'm not biased in any kind of way or anything like that. I do look at this very objectively. So I just wanted to have a chat about it and give my thoughts, and we'll go from there. So on the pros. As somebody who is a streamer, it is absolutely wonderful to see a streamer mode, so we can get rid of any copyrighted music, any pesky business that would potentially get anybody flagged or copyright striked or any of these, things that we all have to deal with from time to time. So that's definitely good. Customizable difficulty options. So I really like this option. So in Power World, for example, you can play easy, medium, hard, etc., and then you can cater the difficulty options to what you like to do. So say you want to play this, but you only really want to focus on things like the economy of the game, or you want to focus mainly on the combat of the game, you can tailor the difficulty options to what you more are looking for, or you can play how the devs have intended you to play, which is a bit of a mix of everything, which is quite cool. Better swimming than New World. I say swimming extremely loosely, but you can at least traverse water much better than New World. Take that, Amazon. Simple mechanics. The game is relatively simple. Pretty much manage your inventory, manage your money, build up a client base, that kind of thing. If you played the first one, you're going to be very familiar with several of the mechanics that have got into the game. Some have been removed, however. So, for example, in the previous game, you would purchase some narcotics, then you would mix it with cutters, so that way you could bulk out your products, and you could name them, that kind of thing. You can't do that in this game, which I actually was a bit of a shame. But the whole premise of packaging all the goods and selling them is basically the same as the first game. Fun gameplay loop. I really, like I said several times actually in this video, I really like sim games. I really like how they work and how they are. So this one, very, very simple. Realistically, you go get your products, you sell your products, you get your money, lather, rinse, repeat, and then you slowly build up to getting employees and that kind of thing. More expansive than the first. The game is 6 times the size of the previous game. Now, this isn't one of those Todd Howard moments of, 10 times the detail, it just works and all that kind of stuff. It's basically just like a bit of a bigger playing field that you can deal with, which is absolutely really nice. Long playtime. Like I said before, the main campaign is 30 hours long, but you can ignore that for an extended period of time if you really, really like and just want to keep playing as you do, and that's fine. You can play this game for quite a large amount of time. Interesting penalty to being arrested. So, being this type of game, there's obviously going to be law enforcement who's going to deal with you later down the track. So at first there's just like regular police who will just throw you in a lockup for like a day, and you just lose all your narcotics, you lose your weapons, that kind of thing. So no big deal, everything that's legal you still get to keep on you. However, as you progress in the game and become more of a cartel, the DEA gets involved, which is a Drug Enforcement Agency, I believe it's called. I could be mistaken about that. In America, obviously crack down on this kind of thing. If you get caught by them, you get put into basically a prison camp, and you have to earn good behavior cards to then get released. I think that's kind of funny. I think that's kind of cool. It sort of goes with that whole... you get arrested in Skyrim, you've got to mine some like silver, and then earn your keep, and then you can get released from prison. So I actually quite like that. Now for the cons. Now, I want to stress before I start my cons list, a lot of these most likely will actually be patched out, probably in the day one patch, or very, very shortly after. Some of them are very, very slight nitpicks, and just more what I think could be improved upon very, very slightly. Please don't take these as a case of, these are horrible bits and bobs, please don't play the game or anything like that, because most of them are just rather small and just be a slight tweak on, like a number value, for example. Soft locked by killing myself. If you start the game and you die... Context, I wanted to see if I could drown myself. The answer is you can. If you do it at the start of the game will soft lock, and then you can't progress in the game. You have to force start it and restart and start again. Subtitles don't match up. As some of the characters are discussing things with you and you're giving you quests and stuff like that, the subtitles are different to what they're saying. He might say to you, go to the locker, grab all the goods, and go sell some stuff. And the subtitles might just say, go get stuff to sell. You know what I mean? So it's just a little bit inconsistent. Vaulting animation is more like lag. Now I'm bringing that up because whenever you do vaulting in the game, like over a fence, over some rocks or something like that, it kind of just it feels weird, it looks weird, it doesn't really quite work sometimes. And it's more like it's a visual lag rather than like a smooth animation, you know what I mean? Can't pat the dog. There are cats and dogs in Isla Sombre, and you can't pat them, and I'm devastated about that. So guys, developers, please. I want to pat the dog and cats. Loss of rep for crimes. So in the game, there is multiple types of reputation. One is street cred, and the other is, I think it was influence. If I remember correctly. No, reputation. So basically, as you sell products and things like that and expand and get more employees, you get more reputation, so more people like you. You could expand your operations a bit further. However, there's a second one, like I said before, called Street Rep, where when you get into fights and commit burglaries and things like that, you get Street Rep. And Street Rep opens up additional options, such as additional shops, additional items, things like that, which is a fantastic feature, which is also a very expected feature to have in a game like this. However, if you're committing a crime, say it's the middle of the night, and you're crouched and there's nobody around, you will immediately lose rep for breaking in somewhere. I don't like that. I think it's kind of just bad design on how you've made the rep system. I think that should be changed, where if there's witnesses, then you should definitely lose rep, and so on and so forth. So please get rid of that. And also, you lose an obscene amount of reputation very quickly from doing some of these crimes. So it's very, very annoying. Massive aggro leashes. So for those who don't know what I mean by that, an aggro leash is when you get, an enemy is aggroed on you, trying to attack you, trying to chase you, and things like that. There is generally a set distance from where they are to how far they'll chase you. In this, I ran for a good several minutes and I was still being chased by people. And sometimes they will keep chasing you. I don't know if that's just like a small bug or something like that, but I do think that's something that does need to be looked at and potentially reduced, because it can be very annoying, because then it puts you in a position of where you have to fight this person, or lose a bunch of money, or lose a bunch of your narcotics, or things like that. And if you fight them and you beat them, you can lose reputation once again. But you would gain street rep, so it's kind of like a never-ending cycle of, okay. Extremely long person of interest status. Now, I'm saying this very, very specifically because the person of interest status, if you get caught doing a crime, or get caught in a fight, things like that, you become a person of interest, which means the police are more likely to stop you, try and talk to you, search you, or be aggroed on you, that kind of thing. As soon as you do something, that is 30 minutes of real time that you are a person of interest. And in some of the areas, there's a lot of police. And then if you do something, you know, another crime or something whilst you're a person of interest, if you do too many, you become a suspect, which means the police will aggro on site to you. And that, once again, is another 30 minutes. So it's 30 minutes suspect, and then 30 minutes person of interest, and then you get rid of it. So that's an hour real time. That's just a long, long time. It's kind of just annoying. It somewhat ruins a bit of the pace of the game. I'm just not a particularly big fan of the long amount. I'm happy for that status to exist. I just think it should be either like much, much lower, or the time progresses very, very differently in the game. Like, it should be 30 minutes in-game time, not 30 minutes real time. Crafting in real time. Now, I don't mind crafting in real time. I don't mind that at all, because I played Rust, I played Conan Exiles, a whole bunch of other games like that, where there is crafting in real time. However, this game is purely dependent on the products that you craft. And now, when you trying to get started and everything, the crafting times are a long time. I just want them to be a bit reduced just for the early game, so you can sort of get the ball rolling a little bit faster. I'm fine with it being real time, but I think it just be a little bit faster. Invalid items can cause crashes. Now, occasionally, you'll be in a shop and you'll be browsing the wares. You could just be looking for water or alcohol, cigarettes, that kind of thing, and you'll see an item that's a question mark. Do not purchase this item. I thought it was an item that I had to buy to discover. You know, like when you're playing like Tarkov and it's a question mark, so you got to identify it. I kind of assumed it was that. It wasn't. I bought the item and then it crashed my game. So if you see a question mark, probably don't buy it. Quick editor note here, just after that point there. That was actually the only crash I experienced my entire playthrough so far of the game. So the game is actually extremely stable and honestly extremely well optimized. Several unnecessary steps. So as you're progressing the game, you're purchasing your narcotics and you're crafting them, that kind of thing. There's a couple of additional steps which I found to be personally extremely odd. So one of them is empty bottles. When you're in your hideout, which there are quite a few hideouts actually, there's about 40 or so, which is awesome by the way. You will start storing empty bottles. So you'll get, for example, bottles of water, and you'll empty them into your hideout storage because you'll need them to make to water your plants and things like that. Your storage keeps the bottles, and that can be fine, but it also takes up a lot of room. And I just think it's a bit of an unnecessary step. I think, just don't have them there. If I want to rebottle something, just let me rebottle it. I don't really want to have the bottle there. Like I said, it's just like very, very small things. And another thing is also, in unnecessary steps, would be waste management. As you progress, you make all your products and everything, all your narcotics, you produce waste, and you have to pay money to get rid of the waste. I just think it's an odd step, and it's not really much point. Like the bottles and everything, I can see why that's there. I just find it like a little bit annoying when you can't quite figure out how your storage is full when it's not full. And then you have waste management, and I just think it's an unnecessary addition to the game. I'm not saying it's bad, I just think it's an unnecessary step that doesn't particularly help immersion or anything like that. Now, so my overall thoughts on the game are, I really like it. I really, really like it. I'm having a really good time playing it. I played for several extra hours. I was meant to be basically doing this video several hours ago, but I'm like, oh, I'm just going to play it just a little bit longer. I'm just having a good time, you know. I just got my 4th employee. So I've been having sixth employee, I think. I can't remember now. 5th, I don't remember. 5, yes. And I've just been having a really, really good time playing the game, and I'm making like several different products now, which is quite nice. And so I'm really liking it. I think it's super fun. I think the game is also a bit slow to begin with when you're by yourself. So if you had 2 friends playing with you, or even just one, you will progress much, much faster, which would be super nice, because then you guys can split up and do this bit here and this bit there, which is really, really nice. So I think the game is heavily weighted towards, on the default settings of course, playing with multiple people, and I think this game would be extremely fun with multiple people. I just haven't had a chance to play with anybody because I was only given 1 review code, which is not a jab or anything like that for developers. I'm just going to tell my friends about it and hopefully get a few people to play with on stream this weekend, which would be absolutely lovely. I welcome all of you guys to come there. And I'm changing how I review games in the sense that I'm no longer going to be giving a number value, because I think number values, they're very personal. Like, one person's 1 is another person's 10. And like IGN, for example, they give a 7 to a game they call shit, and I just don't understand that. So I'm just going to go from the whole do not buy and wait for a sale, because you get a bit of everything in that one. I think this game is good, and I think this game's absolutely worth a buy. Potentially a release day buy. I think it's fun. Maybe wait for a couple of additional Steam reviews if you're not convinced by my praise. But I think the game is really good, really fun. And it's a game that you can spend a long time in, and it's clearly a fun, little janky passion project by these devs. Because it's a small team, and you can tell they put a lot of love and like silliness into the game a little bit too. And hopefully everyone has a good time with it, you know what I mean? Anyway, but that's my thoughts of the game. That is my thoughts, my friends. I think it's fun, I think it's worth a buy, and I hope you have an absolute wonderful, wonderful time in Isla Sombre with the most beautiful cartels, my friends. And yeah. Anyway, guys, that is the end of this review today, my dudes. If you liked it, please please subscribe, like the comment, like the video, and all that business. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the game. Let me know what you think of the video, whether it's good or it's bad. I also stream 4 days a week, so if you guys would like to pop in, say hello sometime, please feel free to come in. All the links are in the description. So, guys, thank you all so very much for watching. Have an absolute lovely day, lovely night, and hopefully I'll see you guys really soon, okay?